like I said, man, I'm looking forward to this year's Olympics. I think this is going to be one of the most interesting Olympics that we've had. I think this is going to be one of the most competitive Olympics that we've been able to have. And I think it's something to be able to get a great start on. So I wanted to really talk down and be able to break down what we got for the Olympics this year. And we're going to break this down through a nice little presentation, if you may. All right. So first and foremost, man, want to introduce you. All right, this is our 20. Hold on, I gotta get the music right. I didn't do this correctly. All right, there we go. All right, so what we got, man, our 2024 Olympic Rugby, 2024 Paris Olympic Rugby Sevens roster watch. We had been doing this 2 weeks ago. We got a few, but like I said, they've been dropping like crazy lately. All right, so let's get this one started right off the bat. First off, let's look at women's rugby. All right, let's look on to Pool B, all right? Now, Pool B includes Ireland, Australia, Great Britain, and South Africa. This is one of the first rosters that were done that actually we got our full roster play out of it, all right? Like we know everybody that's going to be on this. So let's kick it off right off the bat with Ireland. Now, Ireland is going to be led by Lucy Mulhall-Rock. Lucy this is going to be her third Olympic Games. I remember her back in 2014. I got a chance to interview her back in 2014, and she was early in, really, really excited about being able to do it. And that same energy has still been able to consist for her to continue to be captaining all these years later. And it feels like so much, but it's, we're talking about 10 years now that she's been captaining this Ireland team. And that's a strong stance. That's a lot of strong veteran support that you get from this situation. And it's being led, she's got a great team that's going to be coming up behind her that's full of veterans. Bevan Parsons is a strong veteran for this Ireland women's team, all right? She's one of their power hitters. I would equivocate her to the Ileona Mar for Ireland. Next, we got Megan Burns, another veteran. Vicky Alms-Kinlan, Stacey Flood, another veteran, was in, was it last year, 2020? Was it 2020? Kathy Baker, 2021 Olympics. Eve Higgins, Emily Lane, Ashley Orchard, Amy Lee Murphy-Crow, Alana Fitzpatrick, Erin King, Claire Bowles, and Amy Lawrence are the travel indicators for this team this year. Again, this is a strong team. They got a couple wins in the HSBC Sevens last year. They got one this year. So this is a team that's it has been understanding and building and growing more and more on trying to be consistent. Of course, under the Irish program for rugby. So we know that this is a pretty prolific program in and of itself. But this is a formidable team. Next up, we have Australia. Now, with Australia, kind of had a prediction the last time we talked about it, about who's going to be on it. Charlotte Caslick, for sure, was going to be on this. Again, another three-time Olympian at this point. Charlotte Caslick might be maybe the third best rugby player in women's rugby in the world, at least in sevens, at least, because she didn't do much in 15, but she's actually shown out. She doesn't do much, but she's shown out. Probably third best woman there. Portia Woodman being number one. I would make an argument that Emily Scarrett is probably number two. For Emily Scarrett plays for England, 15. But the other people that we knew, I had predicted, was going to be Faith Nathan, all right, Madison Levy, and her sister Tegan Levy, all right. I figured that this four combo was going to be very, very core. The top three have been this will be Faith Nathan and Madison Levy's second Olympics. I think this is Tegan Levy's first Olympic, but this is a great veteran group that's going to be going on that has been pretty central to Australia's development over the course of the last 3-4 years. They've gotten more and more dominant in sevens, subsequently surpassing New Zealand for the HSB Sevens tournament. And then the squad comes in strong as well. We got Bien Terita, Sharni Williams Small. Obviously, Sharni Williams, another veteran who has been to, I think, 3 Olympics now with her. Chia Hands, Sarah Packey, Caitlin Shave, Isabel Nasir, Dominique Dutoit, Bridget Clark. And then in Travel Reserve, we have Collie Henwood and Sydney Taylor. My guy Isaiah Washington going, Pool B is looking tough. Man, you don't even know the half of it, man. That you are so right. You are so absolutely correct about this one. And honestly, I believe that Pool B is arguably probably the pool of death here. But let's continue on with Great Britain's team, all right? Now, Great Britain, if you guys don't know, is the combination of England, Wales, and Scotland all come together. Take it for whatever you want. You can have your controversy, yada, 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 yada. But this Great Britain team came in 3rd last Olympics. This was a very tough team. I remember watching play against the U.S. and namely where one of the players, Jasmine Joyce, just killed us. Absolutely killed us. This year, it's going to be run by Emma Urin, who is going to be captain. She's a Scottish rugby 15s player, playing 7s. Tough nose. But really, this team is so stacked. Again, the biggest veterans coming back in this one are... The biggest veterans coming back in this is Jasmine Joyce, the speedster, and Amy Wilson-Hardy, who has been as consistent as ever at scrum. I believe at scrum half or fly half for her. She has been an absolute beast for basically, I want to say, the last 10 years. She's only been a 2-time Olympian. I'm sorry. She came in 2018, so she came for 2020, but she was also killing it with England for Rugby World Cup 2017, and obviously, again, Rugby World Cup 2022. This alone here is dominating on so many fronts, on all facets, in the trenches, at the wing, and at the fly half position. Shout out to Jason Bray, the Aussie with the pride for hatred for Great Britain. Boo, Great Britain. All right, the rest of the team, we got Megan Jones, another big, tough playing rugby player. You got Lisa Thompson, Lauren Torley. Hold on, I'm going to switch this up a little bit so single me out again. Torley, Jade Shekels, Isla Norman Bell, Heather Cowell, Grace Compton, Ellie Kildunn, who Ellie Kildunn during the WXV tournaments this past year absolutely was a speedster beast. This is Ellie Kildunn and Jasmine Joyce on the same team. I find that to be actually probably one of the scariest wing combinations that we probably have in here, outside of maybe Faith Nathan. And no, I do think one of the scariest wing combinations outside of maybe New Zealand with Portia Woodman with Lippy and Michaela Blythe. Like, these ones are just different, all right? And Ellie Boatman, and then coming in at Travel Reserve is Kaylee Powell and Abby Burton for this. So just these teams alone already makes for a difficulty on who's coming out on top, all right? Traditionally, I have a very strong belief Australia, I mean, they've been absolutely beasting it out. So we're really looking at a power of 3, but we're still not done yet. We still got, we still have South Africa to do, and they're not to be sniffed against. All right. Now with South Africa, we got 2 new captains. This is, I think, their first Olympics being in there. Obviously, this is a program that has been slowly developing and building up more and more each day. Like, they've been getting better and better and better. They're improving WXB. They beat Kenya to be able to qualify for the Olympics, a team that had been in this last year and obviously lost in the repechage against China at the last second. But this South Africa team has actually been developing, very hard team, still trying to find their rhythm more or less, but still good. But they're led off by Mathern Simmons and Zinteli Mufapu. All right. And then coming in with a strong squad, Viroshika Grain, Caesophilia Soltisi. Now, Caesophilia, she has played in the 15th one of the hardest hitting props. One of the hardest hitting props for South Africa. Definitely not one to snip on. Nadine Roos, Maria Shiremba, Lasika Latagian, Libby Jensen Van Rensburg, Kimisetu Balowi, Ayanda Malinga, Birhandre Dolph, Marlies J. Brune, and then in for their travel reserve, you have Shona Leah and Weston and Shaniqua Lemprate, which, again, it's solid. This is a solid squad. This is going to be a tough one. I do feel like South Africa is going to be the odd team out. One, this is their first Olympics, so the grind really gets, especially the waiting. They're going to be amongst the last. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of eyes on it, more so than they will have ever dealt with leading. I don't care what they've played in South Africa. They have not going to have eyes like they will have this year from cameras and from spectators on the field and at home. But I do feel like in this Pool B, though I have a lot of faith that Ireland is going to get a surprise win over one of these two teams, over Australia or Great Britain, I genuinely feel like this is going to be Australia and Great Britain again. They're going to be popping out. They got too much experience. They got too much speed. Faith Nathan is Jasmine Joyce down under. All right, Jasmine Joyce is the Welsh Faith Nathan. All right, like Sarah Pocky is basically like well, I don't know. I don't have a really equivalency for them. But again, these X Factors are Charlotte Caslick, Faith Nathan, Sharni Williams, and then what we get from Jasmine Joyce, Amy Wilson Hardy, and Meg Jones. I don't see either Ireland or South Africa being able to compete over the period of time in pool play. So look for me. My prediction is these two teams coming out of pool play in Pool B for the women. Olympic Games kick off on for the men's. It's July 24th through the 27th, and then for the women, it's July 28th. July 28th through the 30th, man. So this would be a really interesting one. Definitely catch it out.
Buckwheat is changing lives. My name is GiftTime. I'm here with Health Enhanced Foods, and I want to tell you about one of my favorite products on our shelves, buckwheat baking mix. Buckwheat is a seed that is incredibly nutrient and protein dense. But what makes it even more important, that buckwheat baking mix is absolutely gluten-free. A lot of times whenever people have buckwheat mixes, they actually even hold wheat inside of it. So you know it's not fully gluten. And if you're a person that is celiac or diabetic, or you're just really trying to be health conscious, it's not something that you want to have to worry about. What makes our buckwheat baking mix even more important is that it is versatile. You can use it for pancakes, you can use it for waffles, you can use it for making loaves of bread, you can make it for cupcakes. But what helps even more is that it is allergen-free, it is nut-free, it is dairy-free, that there is no additional additives in it. There's no leavening there, so that if you want to be able to raise your bread, you can put in the baking powder yourself and get it fluffy. If you don't, you absolutely do not have to. You get the bread that you love without the cost to your health. You can absolutely find buckwheat baking mix at healthenhancedfoods.com. Absolutely check it out. Get your nostalgia back. Get back to eating and loving the way that you are, and absolutely get back to the energy that you know that you can get without having to destroy yourself. I'm looking forward to seeing you get it. Let's go.